Atlanta police targeting and arresting citizens based on the point system is inhumane and unjust. Since this story broke, we have been hearing the outrage from community residents. We are thankful that Dr. Rashad Richey brought this story to the masses. So many viewers and listeners reached out to our city officials to express their disdain. Just 2 days after this story got our attention, the Atlanta police chief announced his retirement. City officials are telling us that the policing by points program will be no more. This is a step in the right direction. We will continue to monitor this situation and provide updates to the community. Now, I received a call when this first happened, when the story broke. I got a call that evening off record from one of Mayor Andre Dickens' staff members. I will not reveal the name because the phone call was made in confidence. Here's the mayor of Atlanta. He's new. He's only been there for roughly 100 days. The mayor obviously took swift action when this story hit the media. I want to say this to the mayor. Thank you for doing the right thing here, but we still have more work to do. Big ups to everybody who supports this program, who supports Indisputable because of you, because of the power of the platform due to you. You make this platform what it is. And so many of you reached out to the city of Atlanta, to the police department, and to members of council, and something got done quickly, all right? After 34 years serving the city, Atlanta Police Chief Rodney Bryant has announced his retirement. Let's put up a picture of the long-serving police official. That is Chief Bryant. He announced his retirement. Mayor Dickens said in a statement, "I am thankful that the chief agreed to stay on for my first 100 days as mayor, and I have grown to rely on the chief's counsel during our daily meetings. We will miss the chief's leadership as he enjoys a well-earned retirement." Now let me say this. According to individuals that have insight directly connected to the administration, they were already considering having this chief retire. That was a consideration. The fact that this story hit when it hit did speed this reality up, and it made it final. But there's more, all right? Former police officer who would only talk to CBS 46 Investigates, which is the local Atlanta affiliate, said officers are awarded credits for points based on their actions each shift. Now I want to remind everyone, they are required to get 8 points per shift. 8 points per shift. So if you lock up one juvenile and write 2 traffic tickets, you meet your quota. The deputy chief, city of Atlanta deputy chief, came out and initially defended this program, saying that it was a way to track the progress and to make cops accountable to the taxpayer dollar. Well, that doesn't make sense because really you can arrest one juvenile, right? And write 2 tickets, and then you cannot work for the rest of the day as long as you got your 8 points. That seems adversarial to a work evaluation procedure or measure, right? There's more. The cop who went on record said, and I quote, "For example, writing a ticket earns APD officers 1.5 points, while a felony or a juvenile arrest is worth 5 points. Meanwhile, calls for service. What is a call for service? De-escalation, talking somebody off of a bridge from committing suicide, get your cat out the tree, calls for service, which include 911 calls, are only worth 0.25 points. Only 0.25 points. You would have to do damn near 30 community service calls to make your 8 points, which means when the 911 dispatcher says, we have a community call and they give the address, do you know how many police officers respond to it? Not many. And by the time they do, maybe 2-3 hours later. Why? Because they are not incentivized in this program. There's more. The cop who went on record said, and I quote, "I'm not going to lie. If I think the person has the finances to pay for it, I will stack those tickets," the former APD officer said. This officer was with the department for 20 years. I found out more information. This thing goes back to 2003. 2003. Milwaukee police said they've never done it. Baltimore police went on record and said they haven't done this. So many police agencies across the country contacted by me and other news outlets said this is not a program we have ever done. There's more. Does this system encourage officers to do police work that earns them more points? Polanski asked. That is the investigative reporter. The cop responded, oh yeah, absolutely, because I might decide to sit somewhere in the cut and wait for somebody to glide through stop signs, especially a stop sign that I know people are definitely going to miss. I will sit there for my points, the former officer told the reporter. There was another officer who sent a message directly and had this to say. I was an Atlanta police officer assigned to Zone 1 and oversaw juvenile crimes. We had to make at least one arrest per week of a juvenile, no matter what. Another APD officer called my radio show today, the Rashad Richey Morning Show. He said, and I quote, not only did APD command staff punish us for not obtaining the 8 points per shift, they would take away our days off. I found something else. I found a story on WSB TV News in 2013. 2013, attorneys representing a woman who was suing the Atlanta police in 2013 over mistaken identity say they uncovered evidence of a dangerous quota system. The attorneys got wind of a quota system. They uncovered the evidence in 2013. My sources tell me this traces all the way back to 2003. They got caught in 2013. What happened? One of the 3 officers who said there was an arrest quota system. You had a whistleblower. He said there was an arrest quota system, was fired over allegations that he was not truthful. Not over failure to meet quotas. The office provided a recent sworn statement from the officer suggesting officers were even encouraged to exceed quotas with the promise of pizza and movies at headquarters on occasion. So what were the penalties? According to multiple police officers, the penalties were this. You got assignments that were not desirable. You could not take your days off. You also, if you did these points, you got publicly praised, you got promoted to command staff, you got more money, you got to do overtime, and you got popcorn and pizza. Okay, all right? Since 2003, this has been happening, according to multiple cops who went on record with me today. They want to remain anonymous because they're afraid of their coworkers. They're afraid of the police. And so they don't want you to know that they're talking about police. Well, as it stands today, according to street groomers and multiple officials that have spoken out about this policing by point system will be no more. David, thoughts?
First of all, congratulations, and obviously we got to wait and make sure that they actually follow through.
That's right.
But congratulations to you, Dr. Richey, on exposing this. This is, I mean, look, this is the policing by quota system is abhorrent, and I understand. I understand that when you have a job where police, I suppose, could be very lazy, or they could sleep on the job, or they could not be very efficient, or they could use their discretion in ways that are not productive. You want to incentivize them to actually catch the lawbreakers, to catch the bad guys, but also you want to incentivize them to help the community. And this quota system wasn't doing it. What they should have done years ago, they could have gone to some human resource expert and said, how do we do this? How do other police departments incentivize the right behavior that helps the community? And the fact that Atlanta hasn't been able to do this for so long is very shocking, but I'm relieved that the reporting on all of this is finally starting to change things.
You know, very well said, and I spoke with one Atlanta police officer earlier this morning, and it was so fascinating. I said, why is it that other police departments don't do this, but Atlanta feels like they have to? And he said it's just antiquated. It's something that's a relic from the past that individuals have not reformed for today. He also added a personal situation that impacted him greatly. There was a woman, he called her a remarkable police officer. Within a 90-day period, she saved the life of 2 people. One of them made the news. She was able to successfully talk someone out of committing suicide. One was so high profile, it was on a bridge in Atlanta and it made the local news. That officer was fired because those types of interactions only awarded her 0.25 points. She saved a life twice within a span of 90 days. It took her all day, as you can imagine, to negotiate this person from killing themselves. So she goes back to the department, logs in her quota, her point system. She's at 0.25. Well, she ends up being fired that year for not making her point quota, according to this particular officer. And he said they've been telling command staff that this is egregious for a long time. Now it's up in the public.